We're diving deep today into what is probably the most stressful and fundamental topic facing all of us right now: education and, well, career longevity in the age of AI.
Exactly. And this isn't just about, adding a new tool. AI has completely reset the clock. It's forcing everyone to rethink how we learn and maybe more importantly, how we stay relevant.
That's the crux of it. How do you stay relevant?
And that's what our source material really digs into. It looks at why the traditional education model is frankly collapsing. And then it tries to isolate those few truly invaluable skills that are still uniquely human.
So our mission today is to cut through all the noise and give you a really clear, actionable map of where to focus your energy.
Right.
And there's just one idea, this one quote from a UK principal that just frames this whole thing perfectly. He said, "In the era of AI, every school in the world is only 3 years old."
It's such a powerful way to put it. It just defines the new baseline.
It doesn't matter if you're Harvard or the local elementary school.
Nope. Everyone is a freshman on day one. All that history, that prestige. It means almost nothing if you haven't radically adapted, like yesterday.
So we're all starting from scratch,
Yeah.
which I guess leads us to our first big question. Why is the old system so broken?
Okay, so section one. The sources they tear down the traditional lecture, the way most of us were taught.
And the data is not just bad, it's almost insulting. Think about the way most high schools and universities work. A teacher stands at the front, they talk,
The sage on the stage.
sage on the stage. And the research shows that students, later on, remember less than 1% of what was said.
Wait, less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
So all those hours in a lecture hall for nothing.
Your brain isn't built to just store raw data like that. It's a processor. It wants to solve problems, so it dumps the information.
And it gets worse, right? Because even reading a book, which we think of as the gold standard.
That's only about 5% retention.
So the entire structure is built on the two least effective ways for our brains to actually learn anything. Which brings us to the real roadblock: the bureaucracy. The source material describes changing the public school system as being like trying to change the rules of the church.
Huh. Yeah, I can see that. It's just too big, too slow.
It's slow, it's unionized, it's built around standardized tests that reward memorization, not actual thinking. The whole system is designed to maintain the status quo.
So if the system can't change fast enough, we need to pivot. What actually works?
It's a total shift, away from lectures and towards peer-to-peer and project-based learning.
Okay, we hear project-based learning a lot.
Yeah.
But what is a good project? What does that actually look like in this new world? What's a messy problem?
A messy problem is one that doesn't have a clean answer in the back of a textbook. It's ambiguous. So instead of memorizing the causes of the Great Depression, the project is design an economic policy for a modern country with 25% unemployment.
Okay, so you're not just recalling facts.
Not at all. You have to use AI as a tool to, say, generate 5 different historical models. Then your team has to argue, critique, and apply human judgment to pick the best path forward.
So the takeaway for you, the listener, is pretty stark. If your school or your company isn't doing this, you have to find a way to do it for yourself.
You have to create your own messy problems.
And that failure of the old system leads directly to the career side of this. This is where it gets, frankly, a little scary.
Yeah, for generations, the safe advice was always the same.
Be an accountant, a lawyer, a programmer, the solid, reliable paths.
That advice has expired. We're now in the age of the vanishing safe career. And there's a new rule for job security you have to get your head around. If a job is based on a skill that has a ton of human data behind it,
AI can learn from that data.
and it will eventually do that job better than a human, that's the AI trap,
So any job that's mostly about recognizing patterns, even complex ones.
is in the crosshairs. Think about legal discovery, junior coding, bookkeeping. Decades of data for the AI to train on.
But what about something like, say, a surgeon? That's incredibly data-driven.
That's a great question. The difference is novelty and risk. A surgeon is constantly facing unique situations in the real world, things that aren't in the data set.
So the AI can't improvise when something unexpected happens.
Exactly. It's the difference between repetition and true high-stakes novelty.
The sources have one example that just drives this home with brutal clarity: the Monterey Institute.
Yeah, this was, one of the best translation schools in the entire world, the absolute pinnacle, and they just stopped enrolling new students in 2025.
They shut down new admissions
Yeah.
to one of the world's best programs. Why?
Because AI simultaneous translation got so good, so fast, and so cheap, it just became nearly free.
So the entire economic reason to spend years and a fortune learning that skill.
Evaporated, almost overnight. The human expertise, even at the highest level, couldn't compete economically.
Wow. Just imagine dedicating your life to that.
It's why the new rule for job security is so simple and so important. Uniqueness. Uniqueness is the new job security.
Okay, so that perfectly sets up the biggest question. If AI can answer any question, what's left? What are these unique human skills?
Right. And the source identifies 4 of them. And we have to stop calling them soft skills. They're the new hard skills.
Okay, what's number 1?
Judgment and decision-making.
So the AI does the grunt work. It can give you 50 different options for a business strategy.
It'll give you all the options, perfectly analyzed. But the human has to make the call. You have to bring the wisdom, the context, the ethics, and the guts to choose the right path when the data is murky. The machine doesn't take responsibility if the decision is wrong. You do.
Okay, that makes sense. Judgment. What's the second skill?
Critical thinking, or as the sources call it, the essential fake news filter.
Which is more important than ever.
It's a survival skill now.
Mm.
Because AI is, well, one source called it a Hall of Fame liar.
A Hall of Fame liar. I like that.
It hallucinates facts. It creates photorealistic deep fakes. You can't trust anything you see or read at face value anymore.
So education isn't about knowing things anymore. It's about verifying things.
Precisely. The most important skill is learning how to spot the lie, how to demand proof.
All right. Skill number 3. This one's interesting. Social and emotional skills.
This is a huge one. This is the protected domain. AI can mimic empathy in an email, sure.
Right.
But it cannot navigate a tense boardroom negotiation. It can't read the nonverbal cues. It can't genuinely help a colleague who's having a crisis.
So collaboration, communication, persuasion.
Those are your career armor. The messier the human dynamics, the safer the job.
And the last one, number 4.
It's more of a mindset. Adaptability. Lifelong upgrading.
The 4-year degree is dead.
It's not just dead. Its value is, and I'm quoting here, shrinking faster than a wool sweater in a hot dryer. You have to be constantly learning new tools and, just as important, unlearning old, obsolete information. It's a continuous process now.
Okay, so if we need this whole new set of skills, that means we have to completely rethink the classroom.
Completely. If the lecture is dead, then the role of the teacher has to change.
From the sage on the stage.
To the guide on the side. The teacher becomes a coach.
Right. They're not delivering facts anymore. They're managing the project, guiding the teams, helping students use the tools.
And AI is actually a huge help here. Think of it as a cheap, infinitely patient, 247 personal tutor for every single student.
That allows everyone to learn at their own pace.
Exactly. Something a single human teacher could never do.
But here's the big, obvious problem. What about cheating?
The elephant in the room.
If a student can just have AI write a perfect essay in 10 seconds, how do you assess anything?
Well, the big institutions like UCLA and Yale, they're not trying to ban the AI. They know that's a losing battle.
So what are they doing?
They're changing what they assess. They're shifting back to older methods,
Like
oral exams.
Of course. You can't have an AI whisper in your ear during an oral defense.
Right. And more in-person assessments, things that force you to actually have the knowledge synthesized in your own brain.
But they're also doing something else, something newer, something about documentation.
This is the really interesting part. They're requiring students to submit AI usage logs.
Okay.
And something called metacognitive reflections.
All right, break that down. What does metacognitive reflection actually look like?
It's basically forcing you to show your thinking. The focus isn't on the final answer anymore because the AI can get that. The focus is on your process. You have to write, I asked the AI for 3 arguments. I rejected the first 2 because they were flawed in this way. I took the 3rd one and combined it with my own research to reach my conclusion.
So they're grading the judgment, the critical thinking.
Now, grading the human part of the work, not the machines.
And that really is the whole ball game, isn't it? Shifting from assessing the final product to assessing the human process.
That's the key. The source material is very clear on this. The goal isn't to just glue AI onto the old broken system.
Which is what a lot of places are trying to do.
It's a total reboot. You have to rethink the whole thing from the ground up.
There's one last piece of advice from the sources, taken from parenting, that I think applies to everyone learning anything now.
It's about failure.
Right. Encourage mistakes.
Let them fail. Let them get a bad result from the AI. and then treat that as a first draft.
So you don't just accept the first answer.
No. You critique it. You tweak the prompt. You try again. That cycle of trying, failing, and refining, that is how you develop real judgment.
Because the future isn't about knowing the most stuff. The AI will always know more facts.
Always. The future is about being the most human.
That's the final thought, isn't it?
That's it. Your value, your job security, your whole role.
Mm.
It all depends on the skills the machine can't touch. The judgment, the empathy, the adaptability. The mission for all of us is simple. Be the most human you can be.